Hello, internet friends. Cheddar here. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for joining me for another tier list video. Today, I'm making a Star Wars movie tier list. I'm ready to Star Wars. I got my Expressions of Vader Star Wars shirt. We're ready to Star Wars. Just to go over again my tier list in case you haven't seen one of my tier list videos. When I make a tier list, this is communicating my feelings, my opinions on the subject. In this case, the subject is the Star Wars movies. This is talking about the main Star Wars movies, not any of the TV shows or anything else. This is the main trilogy movies and the spin-off movies too. So that's what I'll be going over. Also, as I'm shaping my tier list, I consider mostly three key elements. Uh, all of movie talk, I feel, can be summed up into these three elements. One is how much did I enjoy the movie? Enjoyment can, you can enjoy things in different ways too. So just how much did I like the movie or what did I get out of the movie? Two would be rewatchability. How much am I okay or into rewatching the movie? Am I not going to want to watch it again? This one has an asterisk because some movies are best watched one time, but I do consider that too when I'm making my rankings. But rewatchability, three would be recommendability. How much do I think it's worth recommending? Do I think it's worth your time? Do I think it's worth talking about to other people? Those are the three core elements that when we're talking about movies, I feel like you can be referring back to one of those elements. Either you didn't like something, or you think someone shouldn't check it out, or you think it is worth watching again for a second time. So those are the elements I'm going to use. Uh, Also, the top three tiers, the S through A, are the S, A, and B tiers are the tiers these are the recommended movies. These are the movies that I'm saying I think you should check out. They're worth checking out. The C, D, and WTF tiers are the not recommended tiers. These movies I don't think are worth checking out. Just to clarify too, I don't think C and D movies are actually bad, okay? So if I'm giving something a D, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's lacking. I'm saying there are things in there that I liked. There are good ideas that are buried, okay? And one thing you'll learn about me is I am a champion of movies with good ideas that are buried, okay? I wish they weren't, because when I watch a movie, I want to like the movie, okay? I never go in wanting to hate the movie. I always go in wanting to like the artist's work, okay? So I go in with a positive notion, and if anything, I'm generous with movies too. But it's because I respect the artistry and the work that goes into it, and I want to like it. I don't want it to be a waste of time. So I try to find the good in the things, even the things I don't like, and that might be happening here. So get your oven mitts ready. There might be some hot takes, okay? We got some hot takes to handle, okay? So get ready. We're gonna go to the beginnings. Let's just dive right in. We're gonna go to where it all began. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. What a good movie. What a good movie. Just kidding. This one sucks. Um, Definitely avoid this one. This one is extremely boring. I mean, a lot of these movies have already been broken down, uh, other reviews and stuff. So I don't even know what I can add to it at this point, other than it's just extremely boring. And you don't, at all the best points, at all of the most exciting points in this movie, where you think, where your interest starts to raise, it's quickly deflated. Heavy spoilers for all this too. Okay, so spoilers if you haven't seen the movies. I mean, probably everybody has. When Jango Fett dies, it's just all of the excitement just deflated. I'm probably a little, scarred or upset from that scene, but it's like, what's the point of introducing Jango Fett if you're just going to have him beheaded after he doesn't do anything? He's just cloned. And the movie wastes so much time. Zam Wesell, the assassin character, who could have been in more of the movies, the movie doesn't, it just expects you to really fall in love with the Anakin and Padme romance, and it's just boring. All the exciting parts, everything that would get you to invest or be excited in the movie, fall short. And it's if you watch The Phantom Menace, which is the episode one, and you haven't seen episode two, just avoid episode two, and you're good. That's why I'm putting this one in the WTF tier. It's not the worst movie, of course, but it's just boring. Okay, it's boring, and you don't get a lot out of it. The next one, Empire Strikes Back. Man, we're coming out with, well, why is it the second ones? It's always the second ones first. Second the best. I know this one is an obvious S for a lot of people. I do think it's almost there for me. This one is pretty much on that black line that I can't really utilize, because in many ways this seems like it should be an S tier movies, and in some ways, if someone puts it in S, I don't really feel like I would argue with that. Okay, because they're excuse me, if any of the Star Wars movies deserve an S, it's this one. This one it introduces Yoda. It has all of the iconic Force scenes. It has the Luke, I am your father scene. It has usually the most memorable moments of Star Wars, the most defining moments of Star Wars come from this movie, especially Yoda and teaching Luke the Force. That is hallmark Star Wars. That is definitive Star Wars. And the thing is, though, in a grand package, the movie doesn't leave me feeling changed or wowed. It's just a really, really, really good sci-fi movie. Okay, so it's got some legendary scenes. It's probably deserving of S. Okay, so if someone puts it on their S, it deserves that spot. Okay, for me, it's a great movie. For me, it's top of A tier. It is an A plus. The next one we got. What is this one? The Force Awakens. Okay. Um, it's a weird one because I'm not keeping it here in B. Okay, I'm not. It's a weird one because I feel like the directing and the energy of the movie is all there. The characters are pretty fun, but gosh, is that plot just a huge ripoff of the other Star Wars movie, A New Hope? And that is the biggest thing holding it down, to the point where it feels almost like plagiarism at a point when watching the movie, where you're just copying the exact same story. When they're at the end of The Force Awakens, when they're doing the fighter pilots attacking the Death Star thing, that whole sequence just felt exactly like a New Hope. And I get that it should have been similar. I agree with The Force Awakens being very similar feeling and even in structure to the older Star Wars movies, because that helped. I think The Force Awakens really felt like a Star Wars movie, and it needed to feel like a Star Wars movie because the prequels were lacking a lot of that life. And The Force Awakens has a lot of life in it. It has a lot of energy. It's just when you try to look at the depth of The Force Awakens, it's very surface level coat. It's very shiny paint. It's very there's not a whole lot of depth to The Force Awakens. So I think the movie started off in an okay point in just introducing these, uh, the, the ideas and the story, but it doesn't make the best use of them. It could have done something great. It could have told its own story, and it didn't. It just told the same story, which is a little frustrating because that's so. If someone, I don't think it deserves lower than a D. Okay, I personally, part of me wants to put this in D. Okay, because this movie goes from B to D for me. Okay, so I'm putting it in C because I don't think it's bad. If somebody watches it, they're gonna find a good, energetic sci-fi adventure movie. Um, but that's about it. It's just going to be good. It's going to be good. Actually, when I first watched The Force Awakens, I kind of loved it. I thought it was, even though it was the rip off parts, it had so much energy to it that I think it's worth noting. I think it's a pretty well crafted movie. Uh, you just stole the plot, you know? Don't do that. Oh gosh. Oh good gosh. The Last Jedi. Ugh. Um, this is a weird one too. What do we do with you? What do we do with you? Oh, oh my god. I gotta think for a second. I'm getting a headache. Okay. I like to champion the lacking movies, right? I like to champion the movies that have good ideas that I think are lacking. Is this one of those? Sort of. There is a lot of good ideas in the Force. I don't know about a lot, but I like angry Luke that resents the Force and needs to rediscover the Force, and I think that could have ultimately led up to more things. Uh, I like the Rey and Kylo Ren. It's Kylo Ren, right? Kylo Ren. Uh, Force talking. You know, there were some really cool ideas in the Last Jedi, and I want to be a champion for this movie. I want to defend this movie, but it's actually hard to watch this movie because it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. If you've seen anything Star Wars and then you get to this one, it is it's not even a black sheep. It feels like a whole different animal. It feels like a totally different animal, like a almost like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, it's like, hey, you don't belong here. Get out of here, little critter. Um, it has some. I like cringe humor. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but I can be a little cringe. I appreciate the cringe. This video was hard for me. This movie was hard for me to handle. I found the your mama jokes and the weird humor so out of place and just unfitting for Star Wars, and it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. And I think the greatest thing that I didn't like about it is that by the end of the movie, it just felt like nothing matters. Like that was it. They didn't usually when you're going to I picture the trilogy as like a ladder. Okay, there's step one, step two, step three. Where's the story going to? And this feels like a step off the ladder. The Force Awakens said, okay, here's the first step. Then the second step needs to build on that. And The Last Jedi just spends the whole time saying nothing matters. It was all waste. You know, the Jedi texts are useless. I know Yoda. Uh, just it spends time undoing the work that the Force Awakens set up, and already here you get the signs of a reverse trilogy, as I've kind of heard. You know, it just this movie as the second movie only works to undo everything that the Force Awakens said, and the Force Awakens wasn't great. And basically, my feeling is at this point, I want to be a champ. I know I'm talking too long. I want to champion this movie, okay? I want to defend this movie. And in conversations, I'm still going to say I like a lot of ideas in The Last Jedi, but it's going in the F tier, okay? Avoid this movie. If you've seen The Force Awakens, just avoid The Last Jedi. It's not worth, I don't think it's worth your time. I think it's going to be, uh, a disappointment for everyone that checks it out. And on top of that, I want to say this. This has my least favorite Star Wars scene I've ever seen. Okay. I never, ever, ever thought I would see a scene worse than the Metachlorian scene in Phantom Menace, because the Metachlorian scene is really dumb. And it is kind of it does ruin Star Wars for me, that Metachlorian scene. But this scene where Finn's about to sacrifice himself into the laser, and Rose ruins it, and then has that garbage line of like we have to stop fighting what we hate, and we have to start saving what we love. It was one of the most like offensively poetically unhelpful lines I think I've ever heard, because she's saying she has to save what they love, but they are saving what they love by fighting the enemy that's trying to kill them. And Finn sacrificing himself, man, when I saw him driving to that giant laser, like I was getting goosebumps. Okay, I was so. I mean, I don't want to see any of the cool characters die, but you could have, here's the thing, you could have sacrificed, Finn could have sacrificed himself, and they could have done some force crap to bring him back in the third movie. You know, those things have been done in movies before. He needed to die in that scene, damn it. He needed to die. That was, the tension was so high. It was so insanely high. And then Rose ruins it. She ruins it. I hate that character. I hate that scene. I hate this movie. Okay. Don't watch this movie. Um, Moving on. I'm done. The next one. Where are we going? What is this? A New Hope? Thank you. Yeah, this one's great. This one's really good too. Um, Sometimes I want to put this one in good. Okay. Sometimes I don't like this one as much, but I'm gonna acknowledge it, especially in a film history sense. Lots of credit goes to this movie. It helped, push new movie editing and new special effects. It was boundary pushing. Um, Out of the original trilogy, it's my least favorite one. Luke is extremely whiny in this one because he hasn't grown up as a character yet. And it's just a fun space adventure, okay, that just lacks the grandioseness and I think for me the quintessential Star Wars stuff. Okay, so it's really, really good. I'm gonna call it great. Okay. Phantom Menace. Oh boy. I was a defender of this one for a long time too. A really long time. Part of it's nostalgia because it came out when I was a kid and I watched it and I just was a fan of it. And I remember I would defend this movie throughout my high school days and through just so much. And then when I was 25 or something, I don't know, it was maybe 10 years ago. It was being re-released in a 3D form in the theaters, and I went and saw it again, and I knew it was gonna. There's sometimes where I go into movies thinking I'm not gonna like the movies, and I just want to see an okay movie, maybe feel some nostalgia, and then I walk out disappointed. And this is one of those ones where I cannot believe how boring the movie is. It's incredibly boring. Uh, for me, it centers on a void and lacking. Okay, I'm the champion of buried ideas. Okay, I think there's some great ideas in here. I'm a fan of Darth Maul. I'm a fan of the young Obi-Wan. Also, I should say I'm a fan of the young Anakin. I know Jake Lloyd gets a lot of hate. If Jake Lloyd ever finds this video, hey man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you. Perfect kid Darth Vader. Okay, you have at least one fan out there. I promise. Let me take a moment to defend Jake Lloyd here. Okay, because when you're gonna make a movie series, and if the whole trilogy is gonna be based on Darth Vader and how he is just an evil dude, you can't start him off as like an evil prankster kid. Do people really want a little kid Darth Vader where he's like emo or he's like pulling pranks or you're seeing these like signs of this dark child? That's not how I see Darth Vader. No, the fall of Darth Vader was perfect, starting as him as the most innocent. Is he a little bit dorky? Yes, I'm a little dorky. It's natural for a lot of those, I don't know, for that archetype of boy, okay, to come off as a little dorky. Like when he's trotting down the halls going, "Yippee!" That is perfect for little kid Darth Vader because Darth Vader as a grown-up, you would never ever expect it. You would never see that kid as Darth Vader, which is that's how a journey should be. That's how a character should fall. He needed where the movies mess up is the second one because he's never made out to be a hero. If anything, he's made out to be a psycho in that movie. So the the Phantom Menace, I think, planted some okay seeds. Okay, I don't think it's fine to put in a void. Okay, it's fine. I think I'm gonna put it in D. I think I'm gonna put it in D. I don't know. It's so hard. It also has the metachlorian scene too, which you're explained that the Force is literally just a biological parasite that some people are infected with and other people are not, which doesn't help at all explain how Anakin was Force-born, because if the Force is metachlorians, did like Shmi just get infected with metachlorians? Did she go swimming in, in the like virus water, and then she get brain amoebas, but brain metachlorians, and then she had Force baby Anakin? It's just the metachlorians make things obnoxiously complicated and weird. But I'm gonna put it in D, okay? It might be for nostalgia. If someone puts it in F, it kind of deserves it, okay? Um, I don't think you need to go out of your way to see this movie. I think if you see this movie, you're probably going to be bored, but there's some good ideas in it, okay? Um, what's this one? Return of the Jedi. Hell yeah. I like this one quite a bit. I know it has the Ewoks. I know it has the things that people don't like. I know it gets a little long, but this has quintessential Star Wars scenes in it for me. This one, when Luke's fighting Darth Vader, that and there's the Emperor. Anything with Luke, the Emperor, and Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars stuff. That is definitive Star Wars scenes for me. Some of my favorite movie scenes. Okay, is just from the second one, Empire Strikes Back, Yoda explaining. But man, my favorite scenes in Star Wars are the the Luke Emperor Darth Vader fight. It all culminates to that, and I love it. So I say all the original trilogy is great. If someone puts them in special, it makes sense. I don't think they're there. I think they're great movies that are worth talking about and are super worth watching. So now we get to some other spicy ones. Oh, man, Rogue One. Rogue One's kind of a mixed bag because it's I have to be a champion of good ideas, but I don't really like this one that much. Okay, I did not like Rogue One. It's not a bad movie. There's some good things in the ideas, but my experience watching the movie is I just thought it was a chore. It felt very long, and I have a thing against movies that have a sort of forced epicness to it, and I really got that from Force Awakens, okay? I wish it was just a small scale kind of spy sneak mission thing. A lot of the good ideas in it come from there's like the cool Darth Vader scene. It is really cool, but it, that's not the Force Awakens team doing something cool, and the whole movie to me feels like a missed opportunity. I personally I want to put it in lacking, okay? I I think it's there for me. It's not. I do not think this movie is worth a whole lot of time, but I know this movie gets quite a bit of praise, but it has nothing to do with all the characters dying. I'm on board with all the characters dying, but the movie just to me feels like they didn't do anything cool. Okay, it didn't make me. The characters had cool attitudes, but they didn't do anything cool. I know they delivered the plans to the Death Star, but I wish they did some cool infiltration or stealth mission, something like that. And I'm also really bothered by the Forrest Whitaker self-sacrifice scene. That scene's garbage, where he's like, "We have to. I'm not running away anymore," and then he just dies. Yeah, you're such a hero, man. Oh gosh, where are we at? This. That's the third one, right? Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that's Revenge of the Sith. I don't like this one. It's long. It's over grandiose. I don't like it. Okay, overly epic, forced epic. All the good ideas in this one ruined. General Grievous ruined. Anakin being the top of his game and then going to bad guy. It ruins the transition into Darth Vader. I think it was one of the Red Letter Media Plinkett reviews that it shows it's only about 10 minutes of screen time in between Anakin defending the Force to Anakin murdering the younglings. So in about 10 to 15 minutes, he goes from a hero to youngling murder, and it just it ruins all of the good ideas. If especially if you've watched this far, I just think avoid it. I don't think it's worth checking out. Okay, I like Phantom Menace more than Revenge of the Sith. Deal with it. Solo, I remember I liked this one, but it was just okay. I didn't love it. It's worth me watching a second time. This is one of the only ones I haven't seen 2 times. Okay, so this movie I'm putting at the top of okay, but let me put a big asterisk. It might be a B. Okay, it might be good. It might be gooder, more better than I thought. But I'm gonna put it above Force Awakens. I don't know. I remember Force Awakens more. I'm gonna get some hate for that. I'm kind of mad at myself for. I wish I saw Solo again because I feel like this is the only one I feel like I'm not doing proper justice. Okay, I remember it being good. I liked it more than uh, Rogue One, but I did not like it. Oh, and then we get Rise of Skywalker. Nice. Uh, this one, this one might be my hottest of takes. Okay, because I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. I have only had this movie entirely spoiled for me because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into it. But um, yeah, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. I'm personally boycotting this movie because I'm sick of the whole Star Wars franchise at this point. And in my opinion, a good movie can be spoiled for me. I've had movies spoiled for me where I've learned everything about the movie. I go and watching it and I come out impressed. I come out saying, whoa, that that shook me. Um, I've had all of the Rise of Skywalker spoiled, and it just sounds like a biggest eye roll. It sounds like I won't like the movie. I'm pretty much sure I know I won't like the movie. Given the track pattern of things, you can even see in the tier list how my general feelings of Star Wars is. I think the old trilogy are really good movies, and I recommend watching the old trilogy. Everything else after that is almost a waste. Is almost a waste of time. Okay, it surely feels like that. Even the good ideas are just buried in okay movies, and so that's all you get out of Star Wars is this like really cool gloss. There's some really cool, finish to the movies. It has the lightsabers. It has cool stuff, but it doesn't. Only the original trilogy earns a lot of it. That's my feelings on it. So yeah, I'm personally boycotting as a Skywalker. I don't want to see it. It sounds dumb. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, we're gonna say this is my tier list. Okay, so I might make a version 2 that if I did, it wouldn't change much. Okay, so it would be roughly this. Okay, you would see the top tier stay the same. You would see everything else mostly stay the same. Maybe this goes to good. Okay, maybe this goes to okay. That would be your biggest difference. But for now, we're gonna move them like this. Okay, that's my tier list. So, if you enjoyed the tier list, let me know what you think. If you want to post your, tier list, do that below. But thank you for joining me for this tier list discussion. I hope you have an awesome day. I salute you. Thank you and goodbye.
I'm catching a ride, you know it's alright. Catching a ride, we're gonna take flight. I miss the boat, too tired.